So the other question is your EQX switch. To me, seems like that's your EQ, that's your mid knob all the way down. It seems to affect the mid frequencies most. So here's your EQX off, with your mid turned all the way off. So it's kind of really fat and warm. If I turn that EQX on, you got almost so what it did there, it seems to cut out a wider, a fatter band of mid frequencies. So with the EQX on, your mid knob affects a broader range of mid range. With it off, seems more like a narrow band. So you're cutting a narrower band of mid frequencies, whereas if it's on, you're cutting more. You're getting a little more upper mid range. So maybe getting a little bit with the EQX on and turning your mid down to 5. Getting maybe a little more Marshally or Celestian type of upper mid range going on there. Whereas if it was off, cutting a little more frequencies, sounds a little thinner with it on, and turning the mid down. So it sounds like with the EQX on, your mid knob is controlling a wider band of mid frequencies. Okay, the treble. Much, and I don't think it really does much on the bass either. It does affect the bass. Your bass off. EQX. It might be because with the EQX on, you're getting that wider band of mid frequencies that overlap into the wider range of mid frequencies that overlap into the bass frequencies. So not really affecting the bass knob, but it does affect it because the lower mid frequencies overlap into it. So the EQX might actually do the lower mids, give you a little more lower mids, alright? Whereas if you took the mid and bass out now, let's see what that does. Mid off, EQX off, EQX on. Seems to add still a little more low end, so maybe it is affecting both mid and bass rotaries. Could very well be. Carvin likes to do. I learned with the X100B that they had what they called the hot rod switch on the X100B, which is a high gain switch. Didn't really add much gain. It may have, but what it really did was it cut some of those muddy frequencies. Like I mentioned before, when you get into a gain situation, when you have high gain, you introduce distortion and compression. With that, you get fuller, warmer sound, If you get too much of that, it's going to become muddy. So what Carvin did with the X100B is introduced a mud cutting circuit, which when you engage that hot rod switch, that high gain switch, it also knocked out some of those muddy frequencies. So that's what they did there. And you can hear that's all over this amp. When you go from the neutral preamp setting to, I'm going to leave the EQX in for now. Actually, I'll leave it out because that's a standard setting. Okay. It really doesn't affect much when everything's all the way on 10. All the EQ knobs are on 10. You'll hear it's about the same. I mean, it's a little more articulate with the EQX. So it's definitely introducing some kind of frequency adjustment there. It's cutting some mid frequencies that are muddy, but yet leaving in stuff that gives you some nice warmth and low end. So they are very interesting going on with that switch. I like kind of what they did there. Okay, so you also notice there's going to be some frequency cutting when you get into the soak position. You do get more gain. But it also does change the voicing of the channel, as well as now going into your bright setting, which is going to also, I would assume, cut some muddy frequencies out of your signal as well. So that's what that does there. Remember, everything's, as far as I know, everything's passive EQ. So all settings are cutting certain frequencies to make it sound a certain way.